Good evening all. Okay. How many of you are writing mains this time? No one. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll start now. See, today is a special occasion, right? So what is the speciality of today? What is it? Guru Purnima, correct. So on the auspicious occasion, so even it is raining. So there is always alternative views, right? One of the view of seeing this event as obstruction, because we wanted to conduct this, but it's raining heavily, so most of the students have missed out, right? So in the offline. But other way of looking at is on the auspicious day, so it has rained, so it is good for farmers, right? So we always have to look at the brighter side, right? So on this note, we will start the session today. So for those who don't know me, so I am Thorun. So I have done my masters in agriculture from I-ARI, so in water science and technology. So I had secured first rank in All India JRF exam, right? So I had done that PG. After that I had done like diploma in journalism, certificate program in food processing and value addition. After a diploma in rural development and certificate program in environmental engineering. So usually I won't say all these things, but because this is sort of mandated by the market, so I am just saying all those things. Apart from that, nothing else. So this is my Telegram ID. I hope it is visible. Yes, at KRTP12, right? And also I am the faculty at Insights. So I will be teaching agriculture optional plus agriculture in just GS paper 3, right? And also I have provided the Telegram channel, so which we have launched recently for this optional guidance. So you can join there also, right? Okay. You can see in this corner it is blinking 10%. That is the program, that is I-ARI, Insights IAS, Agriculture, Revision and Recall Initiative. So that subscription, so 10% discount would be there till 10th of this month. Till 10th of this month. So next, so the classes will commence from 12th July. So 12th July and the first session, first class will be free for all. So everybody is open to come and sit in the class and learn the things, right? Okay. So with this, we will start with this orientation session. So what are the things? So what are the things we are going to cover under this session? So this is important. So focus here. First is trends in selection. So recently you might have seen like UPSC has announced its annual report. Have you heard? Right. So recently UPSC has released its annual report. So what I have done is that I have taken the trend from 2017 till now, and what is the success rate, how many people have been clearing from the optional. So that I am going to give you trends in selection. After that, the analysis, like what does this numbers convey. So what is the thing that market has established here, right? So that is one. Next one is the misconception. Just by looking at this few numbers, like there are a lot of myths or else misconceptions in this market regarding our optional, saying that it is like let's say 300 plus is not a reality, or is very less members are getting into the service. All those misconceptions are there. So that I am going to say a few things about that. After that, what are the realities? Is that really that is the scenario? Is that really the optional is not working out, or is there something else which is not happening? If at all it is there, so then what it is? So that I am going to say the realities. Then and then we are going to have a beautiful discussion, like why less selections are there. See, this is a fact, less selection is there, but why less selections are happening? So we are going to discuss about that. Next one is why we have to choose this agriculture optional as such, right? So that is one. And second thing, like is it only for like agricultural graduates or else farm sciences? Can like engineering students take this optional? So that also we are going to discuss. Next, let's say for example, once you are convinced yourself that you are going to take this agriculture as the optional, so what are the challenges you are facing? So how can we tackle that? So that also I am going to say. Then for those challenges, how this program I-ARI as such, it is going to give you solutions, right? So in this part actually I am going to give you this in a way I can say clarification, because most of the people are confused just by looking at the poster that whether this is a test series program or else it is like classroom program, right? So here I am going to give you the taste of like entire thing, right? What exactly I am going to do in the classes, that a part I am going to do in this session, correct? So that is one. And last one is like word of caution, that is do's and don'ts for both like people who are writing mains this time and also for people who are aspiring for next year attempt, right? So that I am going to do. And as such, this program is like totally useful for those aspirants who are writing mains this time and also for the candidates who are aspiring for next year attempt. So how that is going to be helpful, we are going to have the discussion, right? So before going further, As you know, Lakshmi Priya, she was like our last batch student and she got 176th rank. And with agriculture optional, this is the highest rank we have, and she has got 268 marks in this optional. And we are going to have a toppers session or a toppers talk on like strategy, what are the difficulties, how to make notes, etc., etc. All those topics she is going to cover. So that is on 9th July. That is on the Sunday. So it is going to be there. So now the mode, that is either it will be offline or else online, that we are going to update. Right? Via poster we are going to convey that for all of you. Clear? Okay. So now we'll start this session. First thing, as I said, we are going to look into this marks or selection, how many people have been selected in this optional, etc. Right? So first data I have taken from, see, everything is from UPSC annual report itself, right? So this is not the data I have made up, correct? So first one, this is from 2017. So this actually, as the table itself is saying, it is number of people who are appearing for the mains, and from mains to interview, how many people are going. So based on that, we have this percent rate of success, correct? In 2017, it was 12.4, correct? Next, this is the 2019 data. So 2019, again it is 2.9. So next, this is 2018 data. This is 2019 data. So it is 10.5%, correct? So this is the recent data which the recent annual report has revealed. It is 2.7%, correct? So based on this, just this data, and also let's say another data is there. So this is from Indian Forest Service. So this is like number of people who have attempted this personality test with agriculture as the optional, and how many of them have been recommended or else selected into the final list. Are you getting? So this is 27.3%. But again, if you just compare other optionals also here, it is somewhere around same only. But the number of people with this optional, when compared to others, apart from forestry, obviously forestry would be there. So apart from agriculture and engineering and this forestry, so this is going to be helpful, correct? In other words, if you are going to choose this agriculture as the optional, it will be helpful in forest service as well. Clear? So this is the important thing. So just based on this data, there are certain analysis or else interpretations made by this so-called market experts, right? So that we are going to look. So first one, as I said, very little margin of the people are getting into the service, right? So as I said, if you remember, so they are just focusing on this. So like 12 or else 2.3, 2.7. So this is what they are focusing, and they are saying like only less percentage of the people are actually getting into the service, correct? So this is in a way true also, correct? This is in a way true also. So that is one. Second one is like erratic. That is, at times it could be as successful as, let's say, 10.5% or else 12%, and as low as like 2.7% also. That is, erratic figures is there. In other words, sometimes it might be working out, sometimes it is not working out. So this is what another analysis we have in the market. Sorry. Just a second, you will be coming. Okay, sorry for that. So we'll continue with the session. So as I was saying, so like there is a popular analysis saying that the selection rate, it is very, very erratic. At times it would be very good, at times it will be very bad. So this is one thing, it is there. So third important thing what we have to observe is like very important one, what we are missing especially in this market is that, see, observe for this thing. So this is actually the number of people who are writing mains with agriculture option. Yes. So can you just see the numbers here? So in 2017 it is just 89, correct? That in other words, in like thousands of people who are writing the optional, mains with different optionals, 89 is only from agriculture, correct? And in 2018 it is just 1 or 2, and 124 in 2019, and in 2020 it is just 111. In other words, the number of people who are actually writing mains with agriculture optional itself is very less, underpopulation. Though it is saying as overpopulation, it is underpopulated, right? So if at all the number of people are writing less, in other words I can say the opportunity to score more in the optional, it itself will be less, correct? That is one of the biggest problem. And you know, like CSAT has been like a very important factor, which is a limiting factor for science background student, especially for agriculture people. So because after like 10th or 12th, so you would have not even looked into like mathematics. Now again they are going for the fundamentals. In other words, it is very tough, correct? So that is why like number of people who are writing with this optionals into mains itself is less. So where it is leading us? It is leading us into this dilemma or else confusion. Do you want to choose this optional or not? Right? So this itself will be the biggest question, correct? So this is what like the basic analysis of this data actually it is revealing. So now we will have like misconceptions. That is like how this fear or else myths have been developed in this optional. So first popular thing, as you can observe the GIF, what is happening is that, so that lady with, let's say for example with some other optional, she has got like 98 out of 100, very good score, right? But still she will be sad. But another optional with agriculture optional, let's say he was getting somewhere around just 19, but still he was happy. In other words, what I am trying to say is that, see, the marks scored by the candidates in this agriculture optional, it is very, very less. So this is what like usually people are having, and if I want to quantify it, people usually believe that it would be somewhere around like 27, somewhere around 230 to 40 marks, correct? So hardly we are going to see about 250. So this is what the conception which is there. So this is one. So second important thing, like the syllabus itself is vast as the ocean. So we cannot cover the optional within the limited period of time. We need lot of amount of effort, energy, and then time to cover the syllabus. So this is one. So next one is notes making. So this is like quite popular, or else let's say I can say universally present problem for any optional. People always believe that they should be having this perfect notes, 100% covered, everything should be there, and I should be reading that. But what is the biggest problem is that nobody is going to make that perfect notes. You yourself has to create that notes, correct? So, but there is a laziness, there is a lethargicness in preparation of the notes, correct? So this is like notes availability, or else let's say perfect material is not there, or else to make the material itself is tough. This is again one of the misconception it is there. So now, and this is like quite often I listen to students when they say we are just like agri graduates or else from science background. So usually if you look at the questions, I feel like it is like MSc level or PhD level, correct? So this usually they feel like they should be postgraduate or else doctorate in order to take this optional, right? So this is again one of the misconception which is there. And another fear we usually people have is, so molecular level questions would be asked. Too much of molecular level questions will be there. So it will be tough for us to understand and to write the answers, correct? So this is one. And that is what? Is it visible? No. Okay. So it is 300. Like, is it visible? No, right? For this section people it is not visible, I guess. Can come towards this. So it is basically like 300, that movie poster I have posted here. So that is like getting 300 marks itself is like never going to happen. So this is also, it is there. So and last one, recently I am hearing to this. People are always saying that, sir, we are recently passed out. We are COVID batch. So this is what I am getting to listen, right? So they say usually like, sir, we are recently passed out and we've been in this online mode. We have not learned that much enough. So can we take this optional, right? So these are the misconceptions or fears, myths that usually the candidate is having when they are choosing this optional, right? Now, let's analyze this reality. Or else in a way I am going to say the solutions also for all those dilemmas, correct? Now first important thing, marks, right? Is it really that much difficult for us to get that 300? See, there have been people who have got even more than 300. For example, rank 106, Sushil Kumar. So he was one of my senior. He got 106th rank and he scored more than 300. It is there. But the thing is that the amount of effort that person has put to get that marks is unequivalent, right? So nobody can match that effort. But if you are not putting the effort and if you want 300 plus, that is never going to happen. Clear? So that is one. And what are the actual things which is limiting from getting good marks? So first one is content. Usually people say that, right? Content in the sense, see, main important thing what you have to realize is that content doesn't mean like, let's say, enter BD should be in your brain, or else let's say enter ready and ready should be in your brain. So that is not the content. Content is basic understanding, fundamental understanding of the core subjects. If at all it is there, that is the content I am speaking of, right? So because the fundamentals will not be clear, so that's why it is one of the limiting factors for getting good marks. So second one is the presentation. This is very important because like during our UG or else PG, what happens is that usually 10 markers, 15 markers or else like lengthy questions would have been there. So there is a habit of writing in the passages or else paragraphs. So there is no ideology or else let's say practice to write in this points or else bullet forms or else to just satisfy the demand of the question. We always tend to explain more than what is required, correct? So this is another thing, presentation. Third one is the approach. See, approach is very important. Today I am going to take a question itself, like a last year question on this SRI method and DSR, direct seeded rice. So their approach means basically like when you read the question, the entire gist should be coming to your brain. After that, with introduction itself, you have to have the right approach, like capturing the meaning of the question, as building the context to the question. So that should happen, right? So that usually will be lacking in the answers, correct? That is one. So last very important one is the value addition. See, what happens is that people usually stick to this institution materials or else freely available materials. Let's say Tamil Nadu Angro. So material is freely available. So people will stick to that. See, for the basic understanding, that is good. I totally agree. For basic understanding, or let's say for example, if I want to quantify to get that 230, 240, that material is good enough. But to get even like 5 marks extra, 10 marks extra, from there actually the effort starts. So there, the value addition is very important. Clear? Value addition in the sense that also I'm going to explain in the later session. But the thing is, value addition is like, let's say, adding like the research articles data, or else let's say the recent invention, or else recent cultivar could have been developed, hybrid could have been developed. If you bring that into the context, in other words, current affairs. In other words, let's say for example, we usually say in paper 2 we don't have like scope to do this value addition. That is not entirely true. For example, let's say semi-conservative method of DNA replication. So if at all the question is demanding that. So obviously what can be done? So we can give who has given that method or else that theory. After that we are going to give the diagram. We are going to explain about the theory. This is that. That's it, right? Now what could be the conclusion? So this is what usually people will be thinking, correct? So here what I would suggest is that, let's say for example, semi-conservative method of DNA replication has been given like way back, correct? After that so many breakthrough technologies has come. So now there might be some new pathway which is like present in some amphibian, some plant, something newly discovered, which could be in the newspaper or else it could be in like important journals. For example, Nature, have you heard? So Nature journal, again they are going to give, if at all that sort of data or else that sort of new thing it is known to you, then you can add that to the answer. So that will definitely going to give you 0.5. Because why? Just think like this. If like I already shown you the data. So maximum like in 2020 only will say 111, that is 111 people has written the mains. In that 111, if I get one copy which is actually given this and 100 copies have given the same content, will I not be giving that 0.5 extra? Are you getting? So this is where you are going to get that 0.5 1 marks extra. And believe me, even 0.5 1 marks is going to determine like ranks hugely. Right? If you have seen the topmost rank, hardly it will be like same marks also would be there. At times like date of birth etc. will matter. Or else let's say for example 1 or 2 marks will be there. So that's why even 0.5 marks is going to be helpful for you. Clear? So that is what value addition here. And very important thing, legibility. See, I had a student last year in our batch. So like name is immaterial. But the thing is like he was very good at like presentation or else let's say for example structuring the answer. And also content was good. Only problem was it was difficult for even him to read it when I asked him, right? So the legibility was like the issue there, correct? Content was good, presentation was good. He was able to do the value addition, current affairs, everything was there, but the legibility was not there. Even despite that, he got, can you guess how much marks he would have gotten in the actual mains? 265. Are you getting? Just 3 marks less than the actual topper. But still, with the same content, if we had the legibility of the answer, I can believe at least plus 10 to 275, already it is there. Now, even if we do like value addition to the answers, at least 290 he can score. Are you getting? In other words, legibility is the important factor. Legibility, I am not saying like it has to be like printed or a textbook sort of thing. It could be as simple as like whatever you written, it should be like readable. Are you getting? Basically, it should be readable. So if at all it is there, then it is more than enough. Are you getting? So ensuring this, it is going to take care of the marks, correct? But usually this is the biggest mistake people make, correct? See, all this lacunae, it will be coming to you when you actually practice the answer writing. Most of the people, as I know, they will write the first answer in the examination hall itself. So that is the biggest blunder they can make, because they won't know about the strategy. Let's say, for example, first and fifth question should be attended first, or else 15 marks should be attended first, 20 marks should be attended first. So this sort of strategy won't be there, first thing. Second thing, it would be hard for them to cover the entire question paper. The answer booklet itself will be would be empty. Are you getting? So that is to say, they are already losing 15 marks without attending it itself. Are you getting? So that's why completion of the paper is important. So writing practice is very, very critical. That is about marks. So next one is about vastness. See, I agree. If at all if you just look at the syllabus which have been mentioned in the UPSC notification, it may appear to be like very vast, very broad, or else very vague in the sense, correct? So, but what could be the solution for this? What could be the solution for vastness? One is the syllabus. See, word to word of the syllabus should be in your brain. Literally, word to word, whichever it is mentioned in the syllabus, it should be there in your brain. Why? So it is very, very important, because let's say, for example, if you are reading Kurukshetra magazine, or else a newspaper for that matter. So an article could be there where they could have explained about this MSP, right? So you may think like, okay, in GS3 it is important. Obviously it is important. But in optional, where you are going to put that? Of course, you can say broadly say in agriculture economics. But in that, where actually you are going to put agriculture price policy, right? So that sort of clarity should be there when you are reading the newspaper. Or else, in other words, what I am trying to say is that if you have this clarity of syllabus in your brain, the time or else effort you are going to put in to read some article, it will be very, very less. Because in the beginning only you will be knowing whether this article is relevant for you or not. Are you getting? So that is one. So second one is PYQ analysis. So you would have heard about this term, I agree. Like everybody will say like PYQ should be analyzed, etc. Even in like classes I say for GS and also for prelims, mains, at every stage this is important, correct? I will give you a common example. Let's say all of us have passed this UGs, right? Let's say, for example, any education background for that matter. Like the actual preparation for the exam would happen only before the examination, the last day or else the last night of the examination. So that is where we are going to prepare for the examination. But still you ended up getting at least good marks. At least you can say to the people, yes, I got 80 plus, correct? How that is happening? Because on that particular night, what you are doing? You are very critical about cost to benefit ratio. You are going through the PYQs, whichever has been asked in the previous years. You are having that idea, and then you are replicating the same thing in the examination. That worked there itself, right? So this is also going to work, but we are not believing it. We are not believing it. Believe me, if you are really thorough with the PYQs, I can challenge you that you yourself will say that, sir, even if I complete 70% of the syllabus, still I will be getting 290 plus. That is reality, right? But the thing is, PYQ analysis will not be done properly. So today again in the later session I am going to explain like what exactly the meaning of this PYQ analysis, correct? So that also I am going to explain. Next one is the knowledge level. See, as I said earlier also, like it doesn't require this PG or PhD level. In fact, if you have been through like UPSC notification, they have clearly mentioned like this. This option requires a knowledge level which is little bit higher than UG but lesser than PG. Are you getting? This is the exact word they have mentioned in the notification. In other words, they are not demanding you for going into detailed research. Are you getting? So this is the biggest problem, because what happens is that usually people tend to have this favoritism. Like let's say if I have done my post graduation in this water science and technology, obviously I will be having like favoritism for soil conservation, soil science. So that will be coming naturally for me, right? So when I am going to read about soil science, I will read in detail, in depth. So I will be feeling everything is important. Are you getting? So that burden of knowledge, it will be building on me, correct? So this is one. Second sort of feeling, it would be like, okay, in my UG, like for this, let's say genetics breeding, usually the faculties were not good, we didn't get that basics, etc. This feeling would be there. So these are all like emotions, but essentially that is not needed. So what you need is that for this examination, how much knowledge is needed? If you are going to look into that rationality, believe me, then the syllabus is easy. And as I said, the knowledge level, it is about fundamentals. And believe me, on the examination day, it is always coming to this basics. So those people who have gotten into these services, I can challenge them, or else even they will say by themselves, that is, they will have this basics clear plus good presentation. That is what it is going to work on the on the day of mains. If not, it will be tough. Clear? So that is one. So as I said, it is a level higher than UG but lower than PG. Next one is notes making. So this is very, very most often I get to listen from the students. They always say sir, can we rely on this material? Can we rely on that? Or else do we have to read every textbook? So what should be ideal way to make the notes, correct? So first foremost problem or else mistake student make is laziness. Let's say today you have come to me and I have told you how the notes should be made. You will go, let's say we will take this breeding. So in that, let's say for example this mass selection. So mass selection you have started to make the notes, correct? So okay, definition somehow you would have written. After that it comes about procedure. There whatever the short forms you have learnt in your English, that you are going to put there. So entire word will not be written, first thing. Second thing, when you are writing advantages and disadvantages, you feel this is naturally known to everyone. I should not write this in my answers. Are you getting? So this omission or skipping will start from there. So by the time actually this mains comes, what will happen? When you look at your notes itself, it will be very thin. It will be very, very less content. You will start to have panic there, right? Because you don't have the content, you start to believe that this is not enough for me to clear the exam. But even though that is enough, that feeling of not enough, that itself will create the dilemma. Are you getting? So that's why while making the notes, laziness should not be there. Clear? So that is one. Second one, usually student demand this spoon feeding. That is, everything has to be done by a person and they have to give it to them. Believe me, even if at all that is done, you are not going to clear the exam. Because let's say for example, today if I print let's say 1000 pages of this notes, again if I have to make the notes, definitely it will be somewhere around 1000 plus pages, correct? So if I give that notes to you, what will happen? Basically you will have that satisfaction, thinking that yes, material is there with me, I can read anytime. But that anytime will not come until you are going to write the mains. And by the time you are going to take up that book for the mains, it will be in thousands of pages, essentially you won't read at all. Are you getting? Rather than that, what is the best way? It is self-made notes. Even if at all it is somewhere around 200, 300 pages, that is enough. But it has to be made by you. Clear? So that is one. Notes. COVID batch. See, the thing is even let's say for example, it was not COVID. So would you have been read for almost 6 months, then you would have given the exam? No, right? At that point of time also it would have been one day battle. You just fight for one night and you will go and write the examination. So that is what it is going to happen. Just this is a psychological feeling. Thinking that other competitors might have gained something and you are losing something. Believe me, that is not true, right? If you are willing to put that extra hard work to get that concepts clear, even if you are a COVID batch student, then believe me, that is good enough. Are you getting? So as I said again and again, I am telling you, it is about the fundamentals. So if you are clear about the fundamentals, that is more than enough. And then you have to make the notes, then write the answers, then that is what it is demanded by the UPSC. Clear? So up to here it is clear, the realities. Yes? Okay. Okay. Now since we have spoken about so much of the thing, the data we have seen, what market is saying, that also we have seen. What is the reality, that also we have understood. Now can you people say why there is less selections despite all these things? Low score in GS, very good, correct. Then low score nothing is cooperating today. Right from nature, everything is backfiring. Okay. Low score in GS, then okay, answer writing, got it. Then notes, okay, correct. Then say something. See, we are used to having this full length, full strength of the classes. So if you are not speaking, there is no fuel for me to progress, correct? So say something. So what could be the reason why there is less selection? Sorry? Okay, interviews, personality test, fine. Then that's it. Okay, fundamental clarity. Okay, then that's it. See, one of the main reason I can say is the approach, or else the strategy which you have made, especially during the mains time, correct? So what is happening is that, okay, total marks in CSE, that is civil services, combining your optionals plus GS, what is the total marks? Don't know. 1,750, correct? So this is the total marks, correct? Now, so here what is happening is that from your optional, how many marks is coming? 500, correct? So GS, rest of the marks, correct? Apart from interview, of course. So in other words, what is happening is that though like 500 marks is there from the optional, the time given for the optional in the context of, if I say in the percentages, 80% would be given for GS and 20% would be given for optional. And there is a psychological thing why this is happening. It is quite interesting to understand. See, for example, especially for GS 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if you go to the market, like n number of materials is present, correct? When you are going to actually write this mains, what will happen is that you will get to know that different materials is there and somebody has made short notes of it, some topper notes is available. All these are the distractions, correct? So because you are having these distractions, you feel like you have to read them. So because you are spending extra time there, you are not giving for the main thing, that is optional. Are you getting? So the time or else the energy should be divided equally. Are you getting? And also if you observe this pattern of the marks, especially for GS 1, 2, 3, there is like stagnant, because let's say for example the lowest considering the average course, it could be somewhere around 70s and the top could be like 110, 120, rare cases, correct? But if you take essay, 160 is also possible. Even I have seen scores beyond 160, correct? Ethics, same story, even beyond 160 is possible. In optionals, I have seen like say a civil engineering optional has been scored more than 360. Are you getting? In other words, more than 300 itself is possible in optionals. But that sort of like extreme good marks, it is not possible in GS 1 to 3. But if you analyze yourself, how much of the time you are given for GS 1 to 3, it would be more than rest of the things. Are you getting where you are making the mistakes? So this is one of the thing, right? So that is like the strategy or else the approach itself is wrong. You are giving less time for the optional thinking that I know the basics, but essentially you have to practice the answer writing. So this is one. So second one is, as I said, because of this, it is reflected in this marks. Let's say for example, our topper, she has scored 268 in the optional, but still she got that 176 rank. It is difficult to understand, right, or difficult to digest, because usually we anticipate that 300 plus should be there in order to get into the marks, I mean get into the PDF, correct, the final selection PDF. But essentially this has not happened with her because she was equally good in GS. If you just observe the scorecard of her, which is available in our Telegram channel also, she has equally managed everything, correct? In fact, if you want, like I can say like another detail of her. So when she was actually in this training, so she was already in this ACF, Assistant Conservator of Forest of this Odisha, and you know in ACF actually it is physically intensive training, correct? Despite being in the training, she was able to manage the preparation, and actually when the mains was nearing, she had a problem. In their home they had a problem. Even despite all those things, she was able to manage well. Are you getting? So it is always coming to that micromanagement of yourself, correct? So that is what it is happening. So that is to say the emphasis on GS and also on the optional should be equally balanced. So don't over focus on one particular thing. Clear? Next one, low score in the GS, correct? So fundamental clarity, as I said, see when the, let's say integrated farming system has been asked, and it could have been related to, let's say, how it is going to help the small and marginal farmers. But usually what people will do is that they tend to write the answer in the GS form. So they will already, they would have already forgotten about the IFS. They would have focused on this, how the schemes have been coming and how it is promoting doubling farmers' income, how small and marginal farmers will be benefited, but they will forget about integrated farming system itself. So if at all it is for 20 marks, it would have been equal emphasis. That is 2 pages or else 10 marks for explaining the concept of IFS, and 10 marks or else 2 pages could be given for explaining the small and marginal farmers connection with the IFS. So this is what usually they are going to make the mistakes. So that's why it is reflected in their marks also, correct? So that is one. Next one is notes. See, notes, what happens is that I can say, let's say ideal ways or else let's say idealism. Idealism says like you should have like very good content for every topic in this optional, and by the time like mains is there, then you are going to revise it, make short notes of that if time is permissible, and then write multiple tests and then give the exam. But that is not going to happen in most of the cases. It is about managing whatever the thing we have already with you, correct? So that is what it is ultimately going to. But while making the notes, what is happening? You are running behind the perfection. Because you are running behind the perfection, the time taken to complete the notes itself is more. Second thing is that you would have written like extensively for some topic, and for some other topic there won't be content at all, right? So this would be happening. So like excess of somewhere and scarcity of somewhere. So it should not be happening. It is a balanced notes approach, correct? So first you have to finish it, however it may feel like so this is not enough, etc. Don't have that concern in the beginning, finish it off, correct? So this is one. Personality test, and again see the personality aspect, I can speak of few things here, considering this is mainly for like agriculture background people. See, I'm not like biased or like generalizing the things, but this is in a way true also, because especially during our graduation what will happen is that we'll be we would have had like so many agricultural subjects to read, first thing. Then sports would have been there, cultural activities that would have been there. Now what happens is that you have less time to prepare on yourself, correct? That is understanding yourself, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Today also if I just randomly ask like can you say you have 5 strength and weakness, you have to take more than 5 or 10 minutes. Are you getting? So that clarity on yourself would be missing, first thing. Second thing is confidence in speaking in groups, correct? That would have been lost. And you would be like trembling to speak to just one person, right? So that also would be there. Considering all these things plus the clarity of thought, which is not there in the brain, so that would be reflected in the PT marks, personality test, correct? So that's why considering all these things, we have very less selections in this optional. But to increase the selection, or else you to be in the service. Now can you say, or else the path is clear, or else that illusion is diminishing, yes or no? Yes. So see, it is always coming to the fundamentals. Are you getting? So it is always about yourself. If you are managing yourself, the optional will work for you, and also that belief should be there. Because let's say for example, this time the second ranker, her optional was commerce and accountancy, correct? So commerce and accountancy, and in like as we know, so that's for in like throughout the preparation phases, you would have heard about so many institutions, but never would have heard about commerce and accountancy, correct? But still she had that passion, and it is reflected in the marks. Are you getting? That passion for the like subject should be there, not for the marks. If you have that true passion, that will be reflected in the marks, correct? So this is why we have less selections in this option. Next one is why to choose this agriculture optional. Okay, why to choose this agriculture optional? First thing is familiarity of the subject. Considering like most of the people who are going to choose this optional is from agriculture background, so that is to say familiarity with the subject, because you would have read this particular subject for 4 years. And believe me, if at all reading of the subject or else anything for 4 years and it is not giving you confidence, can you be sure like you will be completing any optional in like 6 months just by coaching or else just by reading materials? Then you are bluffing for yourself. Clear? I'm not saying it is impossible. I'm just saying that for most of the people it would be tough. Are you getting? Right? So this is one. Familiarity with the subject. So second one is it is a technical subject. As I said, especially let's say for example, hybrid production of this bajra, the procedure has been asked. If you write the procedure, I won't have the scope to deduct the marks there. It is sort of mathematical equation, yes or no? If at all it is correct, right? So in those scenario, the evaluator will have the less scope to deduct the marks. So that is the advantage of technical subject. In other words, if you give the technical knowledge, or else if you present this fundamental aspects very correctly, then there are high chances that you are going to score very good marks, correct? So next one I can say less time is required to complete the syllabus, right? Because first thing you would have been already acquainted with the subject, correct? You would have been already acquainted with the subject. Second thing, important thing is that in the examination, so there won't be this unknown questions for you. So something or the other thing would be known for you. Of course, let's say for example, if at all it is asked for the 20 marks, you may have the content only for the 10 marks. That I agree. But literally like unknown would not be there in the examination, right? But if you take other options, definitely there are scope that let's say current affairs based or some theory or philosopher based question, if at all it is appearing, then it would be tough, correct? So that is less time is required to complete the syllabus. Next one is unknown question. As I said, it is very less. Next one is practical knowledge. Especially when you are in degree, like the program called as RAVE, most of you would have been there, correct? So that is Rural Agriculture Work Experience Program. So there, like when you were in the field, you would have observed certain things from the farmers, correct? And you would have also seen like certain indigenous technology know-how, correct? IT case we say. And it is also part of which syllabus? IT case in the extension, correct? And also that can be used in, let's say for example, IPM. Definitely we can use that technology, correct? IDM, disease management, there also we can use, correct? So whatever the things you have learned in the field through this RAVE, definitely that is going to come in handy. Are you getting? So that is the practical knowledge. Next one is the diagrams. See, here certain subject actually demands you to write the diagrams. For example, let's say genetics, breeding, and then let's say physiology, right? So the year naturally it will be coming. Let's say for example, if you are writing this answer of extinction, economics, objectives is there you can make the flow charts, correct? So what is the advantage of diagrams is that you can convey more in diagrams than in words, because as like the quote is there, right? So the image can speak so many things, thousands of things, correct? So that is one of the advantage diagrams. Next one is overlapping topics with GS3. And if you have observed this GS3 topic, especially from this agriculture topic like MSP, agriculture price policy, PDS, and then this cropping pattern, major cropping pattern. So all those topics are there, so it is totally overlapping with this. And if you have observed the pattern, the PYQ analysis of the GS also, in GS3 at least how many questions are coming from this agriculture part? 4, right? At least 4 questions are coming. In other words, at least 50 marks. So 50 marks is always coming from this agriculture portion. So that is also going to be advantageous for you. Clear? So this is why you had to choose this agriculture option, or else could be choosing this agriculture option. Now, is it only for like farm science background people, or else it could be taken by anyone? See, there are 2 scenarios. One is farm science background, let's forget that. Second one is like science background, like BSc, honors, like CBZ, etc. So those people definitely have like let's say favoritism for botany or else biology. They can definitely choose this optional. Second thing is that, see, I've seen like engineers clearing this exam with agriculture option. So we had a student, his name is Shivkumar Gangal. He got 26 or 27th rank in this Indian Forest Service. He was a civil engineer, right? And civil or mechanical, totally he was like engineer, right? So he had this agriculture and geology as optional for this Forest Service, right? So and he managed to complete that syllabus in very less time, correct? And he got that rank. So despite being an engineer also, there are people who are in the service, correct? And also we are trying to plan like one session like topper talk from this Shiv Kumar, so that like people from different background can also understand like it is possible in this option. Clear? So that is one. So third important thing, see, the advantage for this non-farm science background people is that they are, I can say, rational in their approach, because they already know that they don't want to have specialization here, correct? They will be looking at the syllabus from cost to benefit ratio. They will be sticking to the PYQs. But here with agri graduates, what will happen? The emotions, the favoritism. This subject is favorite for me, so I have to write more on this. That burden of knowledge would be there. But for non-farm background people, what would be there? That is rationality, that is cost to benefit ratio. They will just look into how much marks it is coming from this topic. Will I be getting this marks or not? So that rationality, it is definitely going to help like non-farm science background people. Clear? Now, major mistakes in this preparation. This again you have to understand, because like see, the intention is that though you are joining this program, or else even if you are not joining this program, it should be helpful for you, correct? So that's why I am emphasizing on this, and don't make the same mistakes in your preparation also, correct? The first main mistakes people are going to do is laziness. So this is like universal problem, not just with the optional, in the preparation itself this is the biggest problem. The procrastination, you would have heard the term, correct? What is the meaning of procrastination? Postponing. The symptom of a pandemic of procrastination we say, because it is spread throughout the globe, right? So we'll think that okay, this should be done, but I will do it tomorrow. So that sort of like satisfaction you are giving for yourself, but that tomorrow is never going to come, correct? So that is the biggest laziness we have here, correct? This is one of the problem, laziness. So second one is patience, because most often what will happen is that we want to complete everything in a go, correct? And another important thing is that, let's say for example, if your peer group or his friend, he has taken some other optional and like already available material would be there, you would have completed the syllabus in one go, or has completed one round revision, you would have writing the test, and you believe that I am still making the notes. So there you should have the patience, thinking that yes, this is the time for me to make the notes. When I am done with the notes, of course I will be good enough to write the test. Are you getting? If at all that patience is not there, then this preparation itself is going to be tough. Clear? The patience part. Next one, as I said, emotions. Because like especially this candidates with this agriculture optional, they will have this mixed emotions, especially on different subjects. So they tend to read something more and they tend to neglect something. So that should not happen. Clear? Emotions. Next one is unrealistic targets. Let's say for example, how the ideology or as like approach should be there when you are like preparing for yourself or as preparing for any exam is that keep targets like which can be achievable. Let's say for example, if you are making notes of this agronomy only, and in agronomy, let's say for example, you have done this PYQ analysis somewhere around like 100 themes you would have identified from where questions are coming. Now the idealism says that okay, within like 3-4 days I am going to complete. Though it is not going to happen because you are not robo, because you are a human being, right? So there are so many things you have to do in a day. Considering that, so what is the realistic target per day? Maximum of 5 or 7 themes, correct? Practically achievable. Once you have achieved that, then whatever the rest of the time is there, you can utilize for your rejuvenation. You can go, you can have a walk, you can like do some exercise, or else like play some sport. So that is also equally important. But what you are doing is that you are overburdening, and some people I have seen like they will tend to achieve it also. Let's say if they have kept a target like 20-25 themes per day, they would achieve, but at the long term, what will happen? It will take a toll on the body, right? It will take a toll on the body, your health will be deteriorated, so that should not happen. You have to manage everything, correct? So that's why this is a marathon, not like sprint. 100 meters you run and you will win, that is not going to happen here. It is a marathon. So have that patience and have realistic targets, clear? So don't be this unrealistic. Next one is test. Like writing more and more of this mock test, that is equally very important, but as I said, most of the people will be writing their first test or else first answer in the examination hall itself. So that is the, like I can say, the blunder they can make. So that should not happen. You have to write more and more number of mock tests, correct? Now here of course you may say that so there is no proper like test series in the market. I agree, but the thing is like we are trying to come up with one, right? So definitely, right? So test series. So and last one is that we have to divide and conquer. Correct? We have to divide like entire syllabus into parts, and within that parts we have to identify the sub themes and try to conquer that on daily basis. Are you getting? So divide and conquer, though you read in modern history like what is that used by this Britishers. So at that context it might be bad, but in your preparation context, that definitely that divide and strategy, divide and rule, it is going to work. Clear? So divide entire bigger parts into small achievable targets and achieve it on the daily basis. So that itself will give you the self-confidence, and that self-confidence is what is essentially needed in this preparation. Clear? Yes? Yes or no? Right. So these are the major mistakes I have seen like people making in their preparation. Correct? No. Okay. This essentially is like second part of the like today's session, where I will be like, so though I have just mentioned the syllabus here, I know like most of you would have seen, but according to these subjects we have read in our graduation, so I have given like division of this subject in this Insights IAS website itself, and also the reference materials, the textbooks we may refer, everything I have given there in the website itself. So there you can watch for the syllabus. Correct? Now, so the program I-ARI. Now we have discussed about like what are the practical challenges we have, why there is less selection, and what are the mistakes we are making, and what are the challenges usually the candidates are going to face. Correct? Now how this program it is going to solve or else like give solution for all those things. That is what I am going to explain. Like if you have seen the poster, I have told that at least more than 100 PYQs we are going to discuss. In other words, how we are going to do is that, let's say for example, the syllabus is here, right? So ecology, agronomy, so this 8 subjects here, and here 7 subjects are there. Now what I am going to do is that I am going to choose like the most repeated and the most important themes in each subject. Let's say in ecology somewhere around like I am going to take 7 to 8 important themes. Correct? So similarly from each topic I am going to take 7 to 8 important themes. In total, definitely it will be crossing more than 100, right? So in those themes, how I am going to deal is that I am going to take that theme, I am going to explain you in brief about that. Then what is the value addition you can make, and what is the presentation skills you need. So all those aspects will be covered, right? I am going to give a glimpse of that, what exactly I am going to do in the class afterwards, but this is what basic idea I can have, right? 100 MCQs or else 100 PYQs. What I meant is like this, division of each subject, and from each subject I am going to take 7 to 8 important, most important themes. Clear? So 100 plus PYQs, that is what. So second one is test series. So this program, it is like having an integrated test series itself. How that is going to happen? We totally have 4 tests here. So how that? So for example, if we are going to discuss about all these 8 topics in this first paper, after that I am going to give paper 1 full length, correct? So similarly it will be happening for paper 2. Here paper 2 I am going to complete, and then paper 2 full length will be given. After that, actually with how it is going to happen in the exam, morning paper 1, afternoon paper 2. So that simulation test will be given for the entire full length syllabus. Are you getting? So totally 4 tests will be there in the program itself, right? And the questions we are going to choose is definitely it is going to be cost to benefit ratio, because if you have read this article which is there in the Insights website, and there we are given the document from the test series which we have conducted and actual question paper which was there in the UPSC, more than 70 to 75% of the questions were repeated, especially last year. Correct? So that reference document is also there, you can go and verify for yourself. Clear? In other words, definitely it is going to help. See, this is not again something I have done great, because this is a technical subject and questions have been repeating, it has to repeat. Are you getting? So in other words, if you practice here, so definitely you will have that edge in the examination. So that is what I am trying to convey. Are you getting? Right? So as I said, test series. So third one, one-to-one mentorship. Right? So if you have any doubts with respect to answer writing, with respect to anything for that matter, you can definitely come to me and you can ask your doubt, and I am going to solve that problem. Clear? So that is one-to-one mentorship. Next one is the topper, that is the topper from our last batch. She is going to take one session in this program where she will be focusing on the examination mindset, especially when this mains is nearby. We are going to have this session where she will be explaining about the examination challenges, how we can tackle that nerves in the exam. So all those topics will be covered by the topper itself, right? And if you have observed our promo video, there also I told you, we are trying to bring this subject experts. And that is fellow friends who are in this services like ARS, right? So that is scientists. So we are going to bring them, and they are going to teach their particular subject. Especially in this context, we are trying to bring for economics and extension, because in economics and extension, people always believe nothing is there to read, because everything is objectives, programs, etc. We have to buy it, and everything sounds similar itself. But he is going to explain in a very good way, right? So that for extension and economics, we are going to bring a subject expert. Correct. And last one, so what we are trying to do is that we are giving this extra discount for the people who are writing mains this time, right? All that you have to do is have to give your admit card of your UPSC plus your name in that rank list. Then we are going to give additional discount. So already we are giving 10%. For people who are writing mains this time, we are going to give additional discount also. So for that, just I had already given my Telegram ID, so you can definitely send your details there. We are going to give the additional discount. So these are the features, correct? So these are the features, how it is going to tackle you the problems, correct? But if I say PYQ is very, very important, not just for the people who are writing mains this time, also for the people who are going to write prelims next time, right? Now, how this is important is that, for example, let's say for any sport, what is the important thing? I think you might be following this Ashes, no? Cricket. At least cricket, most of you would have watched, right? So Ashes tournament is going on, yes or no? Yesterday some controversy happened, yes? What is that? No? Not watching? Busy in studies? Okay. Yesterday what happened is that, Johnny Bairstow is a wicket keeper, correct, of England. So what was happening is that when ball was going to this wicket keeper, he thought that ball is dead, it is not in play, and he was just traveling towards the other non-striker end. So the keeper was there, he just threw the ball, it hit the wicket, correct? And technically speaking, in the rules of the game, it is out only. It is out only. But in the spirit of the game, it is bad, correct? For the nature of the game, it is bad. But on the examination day, whether we are looking at the rules or else on the spirit, it always matters about rules, correct? That rules have been coded in this PYQ. If you are going to analyze about the rules, then you are going to decode that rules. Understand the rules properly, then you are going to reduce your effort. Are you getting? How we are going to do that glimpse I am going to show, right? But basically this is like very important slide. Now, how exactly this classes it is going to solve, or else how classes will be conducted, correct? So this is like biggest dilemma people will be having. So now I am going to address it, and this would be interactive things, so participate. Now, so I have taken one subject here. So if you believe, if you remember, I told you that these are the main subjects. I am going to take the syllabus, and there I am going to identify 78 important themes. Remember, correct? Now what I am doing is that, so this is the syllabus which UPSC has given in the notification, correct? Cropping pattern in different agroclimatic zones, impact of high yielding varieties. Though the syllabus line is just in 5 lines for main core of agronomy, but every year how many questions are coming, or else let's say in the quantity of marks, how many marks is coming? Any guess? Have you been through the PYQs? Yes? Yeah, from agronomy, including weed science? 120, okay. Then that's it, okay. See, now what I am going to do is that similarly what will be happening, I am going to take one particular subject, after that I am going to explain you this thing, right? So this I have taken from 2017 till 2022, correct? So if you observe this number of marks which has come from just from agronomy, so it is varying from 135 is the highest from 2019, so 90, 75 could be the lowest one, but essentially if you are preparing well for the agronomy, in other words I can say that somewhere around 80 to 90 marks is for sure. Are you getting? So that much is very important for this subject, correct? That is one. Second thing, if we do the similar analysis for soil science and soil conservation, again the same analysis would be there, because these two subjects combined together, it would be worth more than 200. It would be worth more than 200. Now we may say that so optional paper itself is for 500, but essentially considering the options which is given there, it would be more than 250. Are you getting? But 200 marks, somewhere around 200 marks itself is coming from soil science and agronomy, correct? Now, so this is one of the thing we can understand, but now important part is that, you know, in actual paper, question 1 and 5 is compulsory, correct? Whatever the question it is there, you have to answer it, correct? Now, so if we have the analysis like from agronomy, how many questions are coming in 1 and 5, that would be beneficial, correct? So that is what I am going to do. So just I have taken the 2 years paper here, so from 2021 and 2022, so in question 1 and 5, the compulsory questions. So if you observe in 2021, so there were 3 main questions, correct? So one is QPM, that is, what is QPM? Quality Protein Maize, correct? So on that the agronomical practices were asked, correct? So you can say it is in POP or else on the core of the agronomy, there also you can put the same thing. But essentially that question has come for 10 marks and in question 1 itself. In other words, that is mandatory, correct? That is one. Next one is weed management in rice, especially for both upland and lowland. So that was asked. And rainfed agriculture and technologies for like improvement there, correct? Of course, you can put this rainfed agriculture even in soil science or soil water conservation. But if you are going to put it here, again, it is worth 30 marks. 30 marks in just 2 questions. Are you getting? So that is to say, they are going to put at least 2 questions in the compulsory thing. In other words, at least 20 questions would be there from the agronomy in question 1 and 5, and if you are not prepared well for that, it would be tough, correct? So this is one. So from 2022, precision agriculture, see this is what UPSC is doing. See, precision agriculture can be used for 20 marks also. If you have seen the question papers, it has been asked for more than 20, for 20 mark question, 15 mark question, and also for 10 mark questions. The theme would be same, but the quantity, you have to justify it just for the marks given. Are you getting? So this is one. So here precision agriculture was related to resource conservation, because in precision agriculture what we are doing, VRT, have you heard? VRT, what is VRT? Variable rate technology, correct? So we are varying our rate of everything, application to the soil according to the demand, correct? If you are doing that, obviously we are reducing the resources, correct? So that is the link they had asked here. Yeah. So next one is bioagents and bioherbicides. So on that also the 10 marker question was there. Next one is nitrogen use efficiency in transplanted rice. Of course, again you can put in like fertilizer management in soil science, because rice is there and you are going to read in detail about rice, especially in the agronomy. So that's why I put here. In other words, at least 2 questions, and in best case scenario 3 questions would be there in question 1 and 5. Are you getting? So this is the analysis if you have, definitely you can quantify which is important, which is not important, correct? You can like categorize like syllabus according to the demand of the UPSC, correct? This is like first thing I am going to do about one topic. After that, sorry. After that I am going to identify the topic from where maximum questions have come every year, correct? So if you take the syllabus here, if you take the syllabus here, the third one, concepts of various cropping and farming systems. So this has been like very important theme for UPSC. And if you observe like every year question paper, not even alternate years, every year at least like 20 marks, at least somewhere around 15 to 20 marks is definitely going to come from this farming systems. Are you getting? From farming systems, definitely it is going to yield this much marks. Okay, can you say like what are the things which are under this cropping systems and farming systems? Are both same? Yes? Are both same? Different? So what is this cropping system? Can you give an example? Cropping system? Intercropping, correct? Mixed cropping, then relay cropping, correct? So these are the types of cropping systems, correct? Now what are the farming systems we have? Correct? Organic farming, precision agriculture, conservation agriculture, integrated farming system, crop diversification, climate smart agriculture, conservation agriculture, sustainable agriculture, just the list goes on and goes on, correct? But if you have observed the PYQs, at least one question, for sure at least one question, definitely it is going to come. In other words, 15 to 20 marks, for sure it is there. And now if you are like giving the mains, so this topic is top 1 priority, correct? Even if you are preparing for the next time, so this would be your top 1 priority. Yes or no, right? Now, so I have taken a question itself, sorry. Okay, I have taken this question from 2022. It is for 20 marks, correct? So it is for 20 marks. Now, so the same thing it is going to happen in the class also. Now just take like 2 minutes, and I know like at this point of time to write the answer it would be tough. But just give me the like structure for this answer. Construct the structure for the question, so that after that I am going to discuss the concept itself. Clear? So question is visible, right? For everyone? Yes? Is it visible? No. Visible or not? See, everybody has to write the structure. Structure writing is no big deal. Of course, writing the content would be tough. Everybody has to give the structure, and structure actually happens on the paper, not in the brain, right? So you have to write it on the paper. Is it done? Okay. Can anyone give the structure for the answer?
First we are going to mention about the meaning of ASR,
Hmm.
then significance of ASR,
Hmm.
then tree method description, then significance, then POK and then
Okay. Okay.
Introduction can give a conceptual clarity about the ASR and IAS, right? And in body, we can give a significance of both the methods and POK. And in last conclusion, we can cite the research papers about this SRI and this.
Okay. 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 Anyone else? You want to give? Sorry? Value addition? Okay. 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 Fine. Okay. See, now I am going to explain you this thing. How can you approach what exactly is the demand of the question and what is the value addition you can do in the answers, right? So to get that 0.51, so that is what the main focus would be here. Now, so if you read the question, it is simple. So basically there are two parts in this, correct? One is what is the significance of two methods have been given, DSR and SRI, and then describe the POP for direct seeded rice. So since this is a 20 marks question, so how many pages would be there in the exam? So ideally it should be 4 pages, but last time what happened is that they had given just 3 pages, right? In a way actually it is a blessing, but for those people who had extra knowledge, for them it is a burden, because they tend to write everything they want, but in this space management won't be happening, correct? So it is a double-edged sword, so prepare accordingly. Either it could be 3 or else 4. Clear? Now, so now first the significance is asked, right? So what is the meaning of significance here? Importance, correct? So if at all it is asked about the importance, can you write about the advantages? You can write about advantages, but the thing is contexting. So there are 2 words, one is content, second one is context. So in most of the cases what will happen is that you will have the content, but you will forget to context that according to the demand of the question, correct? So contexting is very, very, very critical. Advantage is correct, but if you are going to say, like let's say SRI method, it is going to conserve 20 to 30% of the water, that is the advantage, but here it is asking about the significance. So significance means something extra has to be done. What is that? Let's say for example SRI, if at all it is conserving 20 to 30% of the water, then in other words you can say that we can bring rationality in irrigation practices. Water allocation to the sectors can be rationalized, because irrigation itself is taking 80% of the total available water in the India. Now we can, if we are reducing, other sectors can get better water. Are you getting? So this is the significance. Are you getting? Just writing like it is going to reduce to like 2%, 3%, etc. that doesn't matter. You have to add something extra to that. Then only that statement would be complete according to the demand of the question. Right? Up to here it is clear? Yes? Now how are you going to start this answer? How are you going to start? As you said, can you start with directly from the introduction? Yes or no? Yes or no? See, anything could be right. So there is no rigid formality in this answer writing, correct? Unless and until if you are not addressing the demand of the question, of course, then will be critical. If at all it is according to the demand of the question, it would be okay. Are you getting? Now what could be the, like I can say, one of the good ways to capture the demand of the question in the intro? Okay, actual meaning, then? How can you develop that context? Like exact data I don't need, or else exact thing I don't need. Can you think of like what sort of data or what sort of context can you bring for this answer?
areas where they are practicing.
Okay, that is one way. Good. Next.
Present scenario we have relevance.
What sort of present scenario? Like where this is practiced?
Where it's practicing in our country.
Okay.
Actual regions.
Okay. So let me ask you like one of the basic question. Like why do you think like SRI method or DSR method is important?
Water scarcity.
Correct? Then can we start with the answer with from water scarcity? Can give the realistic situation of India with respect to water scarcity? Yes or no? So that would be the better way, correct? See here I have taken that is from CWC, Central Water Commission. It is saying that the per capita availability of water in India is 1486 cubic meter. Are you getting? Somewhere around 14 lakh liters of water is what available for an individual per year. In other words, I can say this belongs to water stress category. Are you getting? So this part actually you read in the GS as current affair. But if you are going to use this, after this if you are going to put another data, Actually, to produce 1 kg of rice, it requires 3000 to 5000 liters of water, correct? See, all the content will be known to you, but you are not putting into that to the good effort here. Are you getting? Both the content might be known to you, but if you are like mixing both together, is it not giving the realistic picture of water scarcity in India? Now, if you give these two data, after that you say that because of this, the I can say water productivity in agriculture has to be increased. So, one of the ways to bring water productivity in agriculture is alternative methods of rice cultivation like SRI and DSR. Can you not go after this to this definition part? You can definitely go. Yes or no? Right? Sorry? Yeah, definitely. That is what I am trying to say. So build this context. Give this picture of scarcity. This scarcity actually could be solved by, as one of the solution could be DSR and SRI. If you open like this, and if I read like 10 or 20 answers, and if you have opened like this, won't I be impressed? Won't I feel like I ought to read this answer? Are you getting? It is just that ideology, making the reader to read your answer. That itself is the biggest task. If you are achieving that, believe me, most of the burden of like writing the good content will be solved there itself. Are you getting? Yes. So this is one. Now another mistake usually people do is that while they write these definitions, the meaning somewhere around it would be fine, but exact meaning will not be there. Are you getting? So to avoid that, what is the best way? To take institution definitions, scientist definitions, ICR definition, I have taken here IRRI, that is International Rice Research Institute, correct? So they have given the DSR definition like this, correct? After that you can give SRI method definition, correct? Now once this has been done, after that it is asking about significance. So this much, hardly how much page it will take? Half a page, correct? In the beginning page, half a page would have been taken this, but the impact you have created on the evaluator, that would be immense, correct? After that you can move for significance. In significance, as I said, you can take this advantages only, but context it towards the significance. Are you getting? So let's say for example water scarcity is there. So water scarcity can say, so rice consumes about 50% of total irrigation water used in Asia. After that, if you give like savings from irrigation water 12 to 35% under efficient management practices, right? So these two will be complementing each other, and it will be giving much more broader information or else understanding than just this one point. Are you getting? So combining both together and creating broader impact. So that is what exactly the significance is demanding. Worst case scenario, let's say for example, if you don't know about this differentiation between like significance and advantages in the examination, at least the advantages, rather than writing the heading as advantages, write as at least significance. Are you getting? At the end of the day, evaluators, they will be searching for these headings. Whatever the demand of the question is there, it has to be in the form of subheadings. If at all it is there, then at least I will be satisfied. Okay, something has been written here, I can read. If at all that advantages is there, then I will be thinking like this person has not understood the question itself. Are you getting? So subheadings has a very, very critical role. So give heading as significance, and then in this way you can give the content for significance, correct? Now, another important point, POP, that is package of practices for DSR. Okay, since we are speaking about DSR and SRI, can anyone say what is the difference between DSR and SRI? Is both same? Are both same? No? Is there any difference at all? Okay, I have done like GS classes for you. No, not for anyone, right? Okay, because usually I teach this in the classes also. Okay, so have you heard, at least you would have heard the terms, correct? DSR and SRI. So what is the full form of DSR? So what is the literal meaning of direct seeding means? Yes? Broadcasted, correct? Line sowing, correct? Then in SRI, what are we doing? Transplanting, pakka? Correct. See, in DSR, what is happening, as the word itself is saying, and again there are three types in DSR only. And the important thing you have to remember in DSR is that there can be puddling, there can be tillage, but the important difference is we are not going for transplantation, we are just going for direct sowing of the seed. So that is the only difference. Remember that. If at all, like especially in the prelims or else even in the answers, if you just manipulate this statement saying that it will be grown in no-till conditions, so that is partially true but not entirely true. Are you getting? So don't make this sort of blunders in the definition itself. Are you getting? Now, in DSR, it could be puddling, it could be no puddling, or else it could be like let's say tilled, or else no tilled, or else even conservation tillage can be practiced, anything. After that, you are going to sow it directly. While sowing also you can use pre-germinated seeds. Are you getting? If not, like water is standing, just like throw the seeds there. Usually in the Western countries they are doing this, right? So just throwing the seeds in standing water, that is also one way, correct? So this is the DSR method. Then what is SRI method? Systematic rice intensification, correct? So what is the meaning of intensification? No, no. What is the meaning of intensification? More? In a way you can say tillers, correct? Then intensity means what? See, you are just thinking in the context of agriculture. I am asking in general. What is the meaning of intensity? High volume. The speed will be more, or else anything which is in more number, correct? That can be said as intensity. Now, systematically we are increasing something here, correct? What we are doing is that systematically we are increasing both water productivity, nutrient productivity and overall crop productivity. Are you getting? So this is the main understanding of the philosophy of this SRI. So what is the exact differences? In this traditional method we are going for nursery. Here also we are going for nursery. So what is the difference? Age of seedlings, correct? So in the like traditional method we are taking 25 to 30 days old seedling. Here we are taking 15 days old seedling. So again, what is the advantage? What is the advantage? Not maturity, it is about root hairs. See, for example, if you take uproot any plant, so there you can observe like small root hairs will be there along with the main hairs. This root hairs is very important for anchorage. Second thing is absorption of water and nutrients. While transplanting old seeds, what will happen? Root hairs will be damaged. That's why there will be less success in transplantation rates. So that's why while transplanting, how many seedlings will be transplanting? At least 2 to 3 seedlings per spot, correct? But here, 1 seedling per spot. And here also what we are doing is that we are going to have a grid pattern, correct? The uniform spacing will be managed. Because of uniform spacing, what will be happening? Sufficient amount of all the resources from sunlight, water, nutrients, etc. will be given to the each plant. So that more number of tillers will be coming there. So that's why accumulate or else the aggregate yield will be more in this SRI method. The difference is clear, correct? Now after this in POP, of course, like we have 3 methods are there, just you can mention this. After that you can start from land leveling. So from land leveling till this water management, like selection of the cultivars, planting time, etc. all these things. Are you getting? See, I am just not explaining all these things because I am giving this as a representative sample. Are you getting? So like as I said in the beginning, so this is what exactly it will be happening in the classes. So this is just one topic, that is farming systems. In that farming systems, we had taken like modified forms, correct? Modified forms of rice cultivation, correct? So this is what I am explaining here, correct? So same thing in the like farming system, we have organic farming, etc., etc. So the most repeated things I will be choosing and I will be discussing that in the class. And value addition, as I said in the beginning, what is the value addition here? Did you get anything extra from this existing material? Could be a Tamil Nadu Angro or like textbooks? No, nothing extra you got it. Huh? So that data, one thing, correct? And then this definitions, correct? So third important thing is the approach. So that itself is the biggest value addition. If not, you will just write like normal answers, then again you are going to get the average marks itself. Clear? So this is one. And okay. So this POP. And for POPs, actually I am referring this like let's say research articles itself, because there you can have like a better idea, the examples which we want. So let's say for example here I have not given like details, but for example selection of cultivar, what type of cultivar is needed, what type of soil is suitable for SRI, DSR, all those details we have, so that we are going to discuss in the class. Are you getting? Yes? Up to here it is clear? Are you enjoying? Right. So next one, strategy. This is very important. So just listen here. So I am going to explain like 2 strategies. One, that is for people who are writing mains this time, and for people who are writing, aspiring for next year, that is 20 for 2024, correct? First, mains. Let's say for example, how many hours is in a day? We have 24 hours, correct? Yes? Okay. Now, simple thing, we can divide into 12 hours. 12 hour and 12 hour. Now let's say, in this 12 hours, you are keeping for 6 hours for sleep, and in next 6 hours, let's say 4 hours it is going for your eating, traveling, exercise, etc. and still 2 hours is left. We'll keep this as like a contingency plan, correct? We'll keep this as contingency plan. Now, in this 12 hours, what you have to do in the beginning phases is that, see, I'm telling this strategy for like those who are going to take this program. So for them, see, up to from 12th we are going to start the class. So up to 11th July, what you have to do is that, so from paper 1, soil science and agronomy, and in paper 2, which are the main subjects in paper 2 from where maximum questions are coming? Genetics, then physiology, then breeding. It is genetics, plant breeding plus horticulture. If we combine this, you will get very good marks. So up to 11th, what you have to do is that at least whatever the existing material which is there with you, just do one round revision of all these things, the main topics. Anyway, I am going to explain this in the classes, so that will be revision for you, right? So this has to be done up to 11th. So here also what you can do is that you can give 6 hours in a day, right? 6 hours in a day for this revision for your optional, and another 6 hours has to be given for your GS, correct? The main focus, as I said in the beginning, it should be for, what are the main subjects in GS? The focus should be given, correct? So that is GS 4 ethics plus essay, right? So these 2 papers has to be sufficiently given importance here. And also, as I given like a brief understanding about our optional thing, right? So I told you that we have to identify the themes, and the highest yielding ones has to be revised properly and like practice more number of times. Same things apply for GS 1, 2, 3, 4 also. There also what you can do is that you can find this analysis there, correct? Let's say for example, if you are going to take this geography, and on average how many questions are coming from geography? 8? Sure? Sure? So somewhere around 5 to 6 questions are definitely going to come from geography. In other words, it is having high cost to benefit ratio. But in GS1, there is another subject, world history. Hardly they will ask one question. If not, they will not even ask that question also. The cost to benefit ratio is very less, correct? Modern history, again 2 to 3 questions at least, correct? So in this scenario, just time also should be allocated in that proportion itself. Are you getting? And while reading that particular subject, also identify those areas from where maximum questions are coming, and focus on that and revise that efficiently in this 6 hours, right? And also most of you would have like joined the test series for like GS also. So whenever your test is there, accordingly also you can plan. So this is like, I can say, one of the way you can balance the things. Of course, there is a flexibility for you, and accordingly you can adjust for your GS. So once this let's say classes is going to commence from 12th, what you can do is that, see, as of now we have like at least 3 hours, or else somewhere if at all it is interesting, we are going to push it for 3.5 hours, right? So 3 to 3.5 hours of like classes will be there for agriculture. Now here, let's say for example, if I am dealing with agronomy, let's say I have taken like 8 themes. So apart from these 8 themes also, there would be moderately important ones, so which could be asked like in alternate years, or somewhere around like in 3 years once that question or else theme could be repeating. So that theme list also I am going to give in the class. So now what you can do is that, especially for the mains people I am saying, so they can go back and what are the left out themes is there, they can revise that. And another important thing I forgot to tell you itself, see, I am going to give you one PDF. In that PDF, what will be there? All the topics or else the themes and the questions which I am going to discuss, that will be given in the booklet form, correct? Now before coming to the class itself, what you can do is that you can take that printout, and what are the additional things I am going to say in the classes, and also like if at all it is very important and like it is tough for you to find value addition, that I am going to dictate in the class itself, so that you can make a note here itself, right? So this you can do the PDF thing, and as I said, like the rest of the things you can give another 3 hours or else 3.5 hours after going home, or else in the next day, and complete the remaining themes. In this way, at least by let's say another 20-25 days, you are going to complete your optional ones, especially the most important ones, correct? After that, what you can do is that you can have this 15 days phases, right? As of now, how many days is there for the mains? How many days? No idea? No idea? 70? 70, how many days? It is 73 days, right? 73 or 74, I guess. So these many days are there. Now if we divide 15 fours are 60, correct? So if we divide this 15 days phases, and in this 15 days give equally importance for both optional and GS, and by the 60th day you are going to complete again one round. So even after that you are somewhere having like another 15 days, correct? In that, like, it has to be like very simple thing, that is, don't make this process complex. The examination is simple, the questions are going to be simple, but if you are going to look it in the complex lens of your eye, then it will be complex. So in the last 15 days it is basically on this psychology, that is, revise whatever you want, but keep the process. That is, just imagine yourself in this examination hall, and whatever the things it might happen. Let's say while going to this examination hall, the cab driver is like auto wala, he can trouble you, like the change, etc. That might be the problem. Once you reach to the examination hall, let's say for example worst case scenario, admit card has been forgotten, so that is another biggest blunder people make. After that, let's say if you have entered into the class, usually the government schools will be allocated, you know, like the benches, it will be making this squeaking sound. As let's say for example some protest, something is happening in the street, so that might be like troubling you. Or let's say the invigilators, they themselves will be talking in the classes, so that is also happening. So what I am trying to say is that just imagine in that last 15 days you yourself being in the examination hall, and what are the worst possible scenarios it can happen. So be prepared for the worst case scenarios, and then what could be the solution for that? Ignorance is the only solution, right? So ignore them and focus on whatever the process you are doing, correct? So this sort of thing has to be done in the last 15 days, correct? So this 15 days, 4 phases, and then last 15 days, in this way you can manage. So this is mainly for people who are writing mains this time. So now I will say like another strategy which would be useful for people who are aspiring for next year. Okay. So this I'm going to say for people who are writing for next year. So 2024 aspirants. Now let's say there are two scenarios. One is people who are attending GS classes, correct, plus your optional, and people who are doing self preparation for GS plus optional. Here also what you can do is that, let's say your classes, GS classes, if at all it is going for 3 hours. 3 hours, after that another 3 hours has to be given for revision of the same class. Let's say I am saying, like, considering you are totally a beginner. So here the revision of the same class means, let's say if at all like modern history is done for you, or some topic has been done. So the NCERT related to that, at least that has to be read on the same day, plus whatever the like things that I have been taught in the class, correct? So this is one. So 3 hours of the class, 3 hours of the revision. So 6 hours is done, correct? Another 1 or 2 hours in the beginning phases give for newspaper reading. So this is very important, and most of the people will neglect this. Because newspaper reading, it will be like very important for current affairs is one. Second thing is about like developing the opinion. Especially if you read this editorials, it will be mainly written by subject experts, or else, let's say for example at times like famous economists, they themselves will be writing the articles. If you read that, in other words, you are getting the opinion of that person, correct? So this is why newspaper should be done. So somewhere around 8 hours is done, and in a day at least give 3 hours, that is class, correct? 3 hours of our optional. If you are attending the class, I am saying, even if not, at least 3 hours has to be given for optional reading. Now after that, by this time, practically speaking, you will be exhausted for the day, correct? So next day, early morning, what you have to do is that before going to your GS class, or if at all it is in the early morning, after your GS class, at least give another 3 hours for your optional. So as I said, so like 8 themes or else 9 themes that I am going to cover in the class. Apart from that, again I am going to give the list, right? So on that list, if you have made already notes, again revise it. If you have not made the notes, at least for those topics which is left out, for that make the notes, correct? Here what is happening is that your pace will be more. I understand it will be tough for you to like keep up the pace, but believe me, if you are going to like follow this process, by the 22 days, like most of the important topics which are there based on like PYQs, that will be done. In a way, I can say we are having crash course only. Yes or no? In limited period of time, we are going to cover most important themes. Yes? So that's why this crash course plus your notes making, it will be happening simultaneously, and in between also if you have any doubt, you can come to me. One-to-one mentorship will be there. So there I am going to address your queries. Are you getting? So this strategy you can follow. Yes? So now last one, very important one is word of cautions. In a way I can say like do's and don'ts. What can be done and what should not be done. This I have learned from the hard way because we have done these mistakes. Okay, what is the timings of the class? So timings as of now there are 2 slots. One could be from 7 to 10 in the morning, or else it could be from 5:30 to 8:30 in the evening. So both are the possibilities, but most probably it will be from 5:30 to 8:30. Right. Okay, so word of questions, as I said, it is like do's and don'ts. So we have learned it in the hard way. So I am going to like simplify it. First thing I am going to say for the people who are writing the mains. So people who are writing the mains, like keep the process simple. So don't overcomplicate. Don't over expect the things. So I have put so many effort here, and I have like done 1 year of honest preparation, so I should be in the list. So all those things should not be there. So be like what I can say is a rational person. So when you are going to the examination hall, have this approach that okay, I will be dealing on question basis. Whatever the question is trying to convey for me, I am going to stick to that. Right? If you are following this, then like half of your burden would be done. Correct? So this is like one of the like important thing you have to do. Second thing is that manage your time wisely, and don't have this idealistic approach, considering that I should have written like 10 tests, 20 tests, then only I should have been perfect, etc. That is not going to happen. Correct? So whatever the best thing it is there, try to like maximize that. Correct? To try to maximize that. So this is the second thing I want to say about for the mains people. And for the people who are aspiring for the next time, so for them, simple word of caution, or else like word of advice I want to give is like be honest to yourself, because in this preparation most of the times what will happen is that we'll have like very good target. The planning, if I see on your papers when you come to us, I will be happy thinking that if I had prepared like this, I would have been in the service. So that sort of planning would be there, but when it comes to implementation, not even 10% of it will be implemented. Are you getting? So in other words, try to keep realistic targets which are achievable in a day. Are you getting? So look at daily basis, and see, of course you should have the bigger picture of getting into the list, but on the daily basis it has to be sought out. Are you getting? So this is like very important advice I want to give. And second important thing is that, see, here management, self-management is very important, because you are most of the time it will go waste because you are not managing yourself. Somebody might be going through the social media all day, as they might be sitting in the class, but still they will be looking into the mobiles, and they won't understand the importance of that particular thing. Correct? This is one. So see, going through social media is not bad, but essentially that should be productive. If at all it is not just happening as a waste of time, then it is of no use. Correct? That is one. Third important thing is like micromanagement of yourself, and give like time for everything. See, if you have chosen this preparation, it doesn't mean that you have to like completely isolate yourself from your family or from your friends. So there should be time for everything, for recreation, for your enjoyment, or else let's say for example, if you have like a habit of watching movies, like good movies I'm saying, so then give time for that. Like there also you can learn so many things, because like of course you are not in my GS classes, but in my GS classes of course I have taken like lot of examples of documentaries of like movies, and believe me, like especially this wagging tail, the question was there in this prelims. So this sort of animal behavior I have discussed in the GS classes. So that would help them, right? So like out of curiosity, if you have these things, then that will be helpful for your own development, also for your examination also. So have a broader idea. Don't restrict yourself just for this preparation. Are you getting? At the end of the day, this is just an exam. So keep this in your mind, and don't attach yourself for this outcome. If you are thinking that if I pass this exam, then only the society will respect me, then it is not going to happen. You have to give respect for yourself in the beginning, then only the society will respect you. Are you getting? And also, this is just like a entry gate for something, like entire new life would be there. Are you getting? But if you are like attaching yourself just for this examination, then it is not good for you. Are you getting? Yes? Yes? Right, so this Okay, so these are the things, I guess. Yeah, so these are the things I wanted to say about the optional. So thank you all for patient listening, and soon we'll see you in the classes, correct? Okay, thank you all. Yeah, I'll be available here for some time, so if you have any doubt you can ask me, and for online people you can definitely reach out me in this Telegram ID which I had given in the beginning, correct? Okay.